welcome to my July wrap up. Here are all the books I read for July. Also, don't mind my hair because I'm trying not to pin it back, but I'm still growing it out. It's been 2 months, so I know I need to give it more time, but I'm not a patient person, clearly. I gotta pull up my notes for the month of July. I think I read like 4 or 5 books, maybe. So The Last Time I Lied and It's Not Her are 2 books that I did complete reviews for. I think for It's Not Her, I ended up doing a little bit of a spoiler chat towards the end, just because I found it to be a little bit frustrating, but these are the first 2 books that I finished this month, and I did like them. They're super fun thrillers. It's Not Her was a little bit more fast-paced than The Last Time I Lied. The Last Time I Lied is a camp counselor setting. These girls go missing. 15 years later, the camp reopens. Ooh, what's going on? Let's get to the bottom of that mystery. That type of thing. I like it. The Shortest History of Music by Andrew Ford is obviously nonfiction. It's a very quick overview of the history of music. I picked this book up, or I was reading this book while I was at work because it's a book that we sell. What do I say? I never studied music in that way. I was in chorus for a number of years. I was in theater for a number of years. I'm tone deaf. So I don't sing. I don't like to sing because I cannot figure out how to fix it. The history and all was really interesting. I read This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me, and I forgot the author, so I'll have it here. The cover is gorgeous. These were all library books, by the way, except for The Shortest History of Music. I borrow these from my local library. I love supporting my local library. I live in Queens, born and raised, so I support numerous branches of the Queens Public Library because I don't have a library card. Summer's almost over and I haven't gotten a library card yet from the New York City Public Libraries, but I know I have to because I want one. I've never even been inside a New York City Public Library. But anyway, the Queens Public Libraries are really nice though. Kingdom Will Not Kill Me follows this girl who is suddenly, she wakes up and she's transported into the universe of her favorite novels. And there's a lot, I thought this was a standalone book and it's definitely not because of the way it ended. But essentially, it's like fantasy and a little bit like medieval to me. I'm not the best at describing these books, but basically she can't be killed and she keeps waking up. She'll end up being unalived and then she wakes up again and she still has to figure out how to get clothes on her back, how to get food. The protagonist is very brave. She's very outspoken, you know, a strong female character, and she is kind of caught up in political alliances. I found it a little boring sometimes, but that's really because I was coming off of a really strong book slump. I like that the way the romance was in here. It was very subtle, very slow burn. I'm not a big fan of romance at the moment anyway, so I knew going into it that there was going to be a little bit of it. But it surprised me that it wasn't cheesy, it wasn't like insta-love or anything like that. I'm interested to see where the series goes. I don't see myself purchasing the book because usually if I love a book enough after reading it from the library, I'll buy it for myself as an ebook or as a physical book, but I'm not sure yet. I would love to see where it goes from there. Okay, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, so 5 books that I finished. The last one is from Octavia Butler. I don't have it here. I don't even remember what it was, but it's a short story one because she has quite a few series, standalones, and at my public library, because I didn't request anything ahead of time, I saw a lot of like the sequels to her novels and not the first one, so obviously I had to choose whatever I could, you know, fine. Whatever. Octavia Butler is the queen of sci-fi in my opinion. She was a very famous, talented Black writer whose work stands the test of time, and I think you could say that about a lot of authors, but there's something about her sci-fi in particular that is so weird in a good way, where she doesn't like spoon feed you. She like drops you off into whatever world it is she's writing about, specifically when it comes to aliens, and it's just weird. It's weird, it's unsettling, and it leaves you thinking. And obviously, of course, there's very important themes that are woven into her stories. I had to look it up. It's Bloodchild and Other Stories, which is the only collection of science fiction stories and essays that were written by her. Even the essays were really good. The one that I picked up had an introduction by Jessamine Ward, which I also loved because we're similar age, and she talks about the impact that Octavia Butler's books had as a millennial and kind of all the crazy events, if you really think about it, that a lot of millennials, I mean, she's a little bit older, she's like an elder millennial, but all the big world events that we went through, like in the late 90s or like mid 90s to like the early to mid 2000s, like there was a lot going on, and a lot of these stories are obviously dystopian, sci-fi. I don't know, they really connect to a lot of current events, and this book was written, or these stories were written so long ago. It's super interesting. I love it. 10 out of 10. I will continue to explore Octavia Butler's body of work because I love everything I've read so far, even if it takes a while to get into. It's kind of like with her sci-fi stories, sometimes you do have to really focus. It's not something you can read, I think, like in a really busy environment, or at least I can't. I really have to focus to understand like what I'm reading because of the way she describes creatures or like non-humans and stuff. It's a little trippy. There's construction going on, so I think this is the perfect time to end this video. That is my wrap up for July. I am very proud of myself. I have not read this much in years, in 1 month, and I will be filming my August TBR very soon. So if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And until next time, bye.